tale begins with a heartbreaking yet transformative event, the crucifixion of Jesus, as told in the book of Matthew. Some of you heard it today in Mark. Here we witness the sorrowful, pivotal demise of a figure whose life and death would redefine the relationship between God and humanity. The earth itself mourned, the skies darkened, and the veil separating the holy from the human was torn. And that symbolized an unprecedented reunion between the worlds. Parallel to this, in the book of Colossians, we're given insight into this cosmic significance. It wasn't just an act of profound sacrifice, but a divine strategy that disarmed the forces of darkness, securing a victory over the shadows. This passage reveals the so what of this historical moment. So often people ask, what's so special about Good Friday? Why do you celebrate Good Friday? How can you celebrate Good Friday when it's such a horrific event? But this passage, it shows us how it directly impacts us, bridging the gap between God's plan and the human experience. At one point, we read this in Colossians. He canceled the record of the charges against us and took it away by nailing it to the cross. In this way, he disarmed the spiritual rulers and authorities. He shamed them publicly by this victory over them on the cross. That's why we celebrate. On Good Friday, we often find ourselves, if you're anything like me, torn between a spot of mourning and a spot of celebration. And for years, I was like, which one is the right one? The answer is yes. Because we see both sides, don't we? We're looking back at it. It's almost like we have the book of Matthew here, and we have Colossians here, and we get to see both of those. But we can even feel both sides. We grieve the necessity of the sacrifice of Jesus. And in that, we reflect on the deep and the depth of the human brokenness that required God's intervention. Yet at the same time, we're joyful. We're engulfed in joy, understanding that this was the truest manifestation of unconditional love that has ever happened. A love so willing that it would embrace death so that we might find life. This two sides of emotion leads us to a place of gratitude. We're reminded to approach life with a sense of reverence and awe, recognizing the cost of our rescue, and if you would, your freedom. The Easter story invites us to see ourselves in a new light, not just as beneficiaries of divine love, but also as participants in a story much larger than our own. So if you would with me, over the course of the next 3 days, think of yourself and how this story relates to you, how this story changes you, how this story impacts you. Because as we navigate the complexities of this world, this age-old narrative offers us both hope and perspective. It encourages us to see beyond the immediate, to trust in a plan that weaves all the way through time and through space, connecting us to something eternal. At its core, this story is not just a historical memory or an annual celebration where families get together and burn hams and look for Easter eggs. This is the truth. It is an invitation for you and for me to live in the awareness of a love so vast that it would enter into the depths of despair to bring forth hope. That's confirmation for what you read earlier, Beck. It challenges us, though, doesn't it? To see every moment as charged with potential for transformation, urging us to live in a way that honors Jesus, the ultimate sacrifice. So as we gather to reflect the meaning on this day, let us hold in our hearts the deep truth that in the moment of the greatest darkness, the stage was set for the most radiant light. This is a story of when everything changed. It really did. Not just for those who witnessed it firsthand, but for all of us. Again, this is something that goes through time and space to meet you right here. And in that, we are invited into a new way, a way of being transformed by love for the love of God. So why is today called Good Friday? Because the hard that was temporary would soon be eclipsed by a good that would be eternal. I want you to remember this over the next 3 days. A lot can happen in 3 days.